guys, just wanted to quickly tell you what I'm going to be doing on my show today at 5 p.m. It's 100 days of the Ukraine war, and we've been showing you a lot about the Russian mind games and propaganda over these 100 days. But what about the propaganda against Vladimir Putin? There's been so much of that, hasn't it? So we're going to actually look at some of those claims that the West has made about Putin and whether they, really hold up at all. So, is a broken and bruised Putin really just a Western wet dream, or is it something else? I'm going to be looking at that. I also have a fantastic burn that our External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, has dropped on the European Union. I posted a bit of that on my Twitter earlier. You can check that out. But I have the full clip playing out, and I'm going to be talking a bit about it on my show as well. I also have a big update from the Moose Wala blood trail. All of that, much more on 5 Live at 5 p.m. Join me.
In association with Sensodyne Daily Sensitivity Protection.
Massive revelation in Moose Wala murder probe. Big breakthrough murder admission. Gangster Bishnoi admits to killing Moose Wala. Bishnoi says, yes, he got Sidhu Moose Wala killed. The Bishnoi confession. Big focus on 5 Live.
Not some fuzzy phone call, not some fake source-based information, but an actual confession that we've gotten from the policeman who've interrogated Lawrence Bishnoi. No fuzzy information here on India Today when it comes to the country's top stories. That's what I'm bringing to you. The headlines first at 5. Shocker from Hyderabad broken by India Today. Minor allegedly raped in a Mercedes by 3 to 4 persons. Sources say all of the perpetrators are sons of netas from the AIMIM, Congress and other parties. India Today accesses CCTV footage from outside the pub. National media forced to follow the story after India Today's news break. Gangster Lawrence Bishnoi admits to his gang killing Sidhu Moose Wala, confesses to murder, says the police. He says this was to avenge Vicky Middu Kheda's death last year. Big India Today national exclusive, stunning new jihad truth exposed. Pakistan planned the current spate of targeted killings of Hindu minorities in Kashmir way back in 2021. We've got the details of the entire conspiracy. Big googly by RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat on the Gyanvapi showdown says, why look for a shivling in every mosque? Advocates resolution of dispute by mutual consent. It has a calming effect on raised tensions over the Gyanvapi mosque issue.
वो भी समझना चाहिए। ज्ञानवापी के बारे में हमारी कुछ श्रद्धाएं हैं, परंपरा से चलती आई, हम कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। परंतु हर मस्जिद में शिवलिंग क्यों देखना? तो भाई वो भी एक पूजा है, ठीक है, बाहर से आई है।
Russia-Ukraine war enters day 100. Putin digs in his heels, won't pull back. Global hero of sorts, Zelensky fights back, stalls the Russian forces. But how are things on the ground? I'll be telling you at 5:30. And we've got a sensational new video linked to the Sidhu Moose Wala murder now that adds a fresh new dimension to what we have seen so far. This is a video I can assure you, viewer, that nobody else has at this point of time. This sensational new video linked to the Moose Wala murder shows the gangsters fleeing after the assassination of the Punjabi superstar. The gangsters are seen fleeing in a white Alto after abandoning this Bolero that you see on your screen, as well as a Corolla. They were in the video, and this video shows both the Bolero that's on your screen as well as the Alto that they basically hijacked from another family. So these are images from right after the shootout that have been captured on CCTV camera, and you're seeing the full unedited video, first and exclusive and only here on India Today. Tanseem Haider, my colleague, reporting on this story. Tanseem, detail में बताइए कि ये CCTV video में exactly क्या दिखाई दे रहा है, ये जो sequence of events जो है, जरा बताइए तंसीम।
शिव, सबसे इस पूरे मामले में जब ये मर्डर की पूरी वारदात को अंजाम दिया इन बदमाशों ने, उसके बाद ये किलर वहां से भागने लगे। रास्ते में ऐसा बताया जा रहा है कि भागते वक्त इनकी एक गाड़ी जब खराब हो गई तो इन्होंने इस ऑल्टो को लूट लिया। ये ऑल्टो कार, इसमें एक परिवार जा रहा था, एक फैमिली जा रही थी, जिसको इन्होंने अपने पिस्टल्स और रिवॉल्वर दिखा के ये गाड़ी छीन ली। उसके बाद इस गाड़ी पे सवार होकर ये आगे की तरफ भागे। उस थोड़ी दूर आगे जाने के बाद इन्होंने ये गाड़ी भी छोड़ दी, यानी कि जो सिद्धू मूसेवाला के किलर्स थे वो उनकी दो गाड़ियां रास्ते में खराब हुई और अपनी गाड़ियों को छोड़ के भाग गए। जैसा कि पहले भी हमने देखा था कि जो बोलेरो थी वो भी लावारिस हालत में मिली थी, उसके बाद ऑल्टो भी लावारिस हालत में मिली और इनको कोरोला भी लावारिस हालत में छोड़ के भाग गए थे। तो इनके पास इनकी दो गाड़ियां खराब हुई थी रास्ते में। पहले कोरोला खराब हुई तो इन्होंने ये ऑल्टो लूट ली थी एक फैमिली से अपने गन पॉइंट पे, और लूटपाट के बाद उस ऑल्टो को लेके ये आगे की तरफ भागे थे, लेकिन ज्यादा दूर भाग नहीं पाए। ऑल्टो छोड़ के फिर ये तीसरी किसी गाड़ी से आगे भागे हैं अलग अलग हिस्सों में। और एक और जानकारी दे दूं कि जैसा कि इनमें से कुछ शूटर्स ऐसे हैं, कुछ बदमाश ऐसे भी हैं जो नेपाल की तरफ भाग गए हैं हिंदुस्तान से बाहर, और उनको ढूंढने के लिए स्पेशल सेल की उनकी छानबीन करने के लिए स्पेशल सेल की टीम भी रवाना की गई है नेपाल में। तो जाहिर है ये एक बड़ा नेटवर्क है जो काम कर रहा था लॉरेंस बिश्नोई और गोल्डी बराड़ का, और इन्होंने अपने बदमाशों को बाकायदा बताया था किस किस रास्तों से किन किन लोगों को कहां भागना है। तो कुछ ऐसे हैं जो किलर्स, जो शूटर्स थे, वो हिंदुस्तान होते हुए नेपाल की तरफ भागे हैं। तो ये एक पूरा लंबा चौड़ा इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रहा है, जिसे दो स्टेट की पुलिस अपने हिसाब से इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रही है। स्पेशल सेल पूछताछ कर रही है लॉरेंस बिश्नोई से। 5 दिन की पुलिस कस्टडी में है स्पेशल सेल की लॉरेंस। उसके अलावा पंजाब पुलिस की 10 टीमें इस पे काम कर रही हैं। पंजाब पुलिस की अलग अलग टीमें जीरोड इन कर रही हैं उन गैंगस्टर को जिन्हें शक है, जिन्होंने जेल से इसमें लॉजिस्टिक मुहैया कराए। मोबाइल फोन पे एक दूसरे से जो गैंगस्टर जुड़े हुए बात कर रहे थे उनको प्रोडक्शन रिमांड पे लिया गया है, प्रोडक्शन वारंट जारी करके पूछताछ के लिए लाया गया है। शिव,
Tanseem, thank you very much for putting that into perspective for us. This brand new piece of CCTV video footage capturing what happened just minutes after the firing on Sidhu Moose Wala that killed him. Now, in a killer admission, remember these pictures as I take you through what I'm going to tell you next. This is a confession by the man who first took credit for the killing. Jailed gangster Lawrence Bishnoi has on the record confessed to killing Punjabi singer Sidhu Moose Wala. Lawrence Bishnoi, who is in Delhi's maximum security Tihar jail, confessed that one of his gang members shot and killed Sidhu Moose Wala, and it is going exactly on the lines of what India Today has been reporting from day one. It was a revenge killing, he says, for one of his associates, Vicky Middu Kheda's murder in 2021, apparently at the behest of Sidhu Moose Wala's manager, who's now sitting in Australia. Take a look. A 30-year-old dreaded gangster operating stealthily and fearlessly from Delhi's maximum security Tihar jail. Murder, extortion, robbery. Lawrence Bishnoi has more than 24 cases against him. In a stunning admission now, Lawrence Bishnoi has for the first time admitted to have gotten Punjabi singer Sidhu Moose Wala killed. Sources tell India Today that Bishnoi admitted to his role in his statement to the Delhi police. Sources say Bishnoi has claimed Moose Wala was killed to avenge the death of rival gangster Vicky Middu Kheda. Moose Wala's manager Shagan Preet's hand is suspected in the murder of Middu Kheda last year. Lawrence Bishnoi's close aide and Canada-based gangster Goldie Brar too had claimed responsibility for the singer's killing, citing the same reason, avenging Vicky Midhu Kheda's death. Despite being jailed, Lawrence Bishnoi continues to run his crime syndicate from Tihar jail with impunity. He's also allegedly involved in extortion from the liquor mafia. Bishnoi's gang is also known to extort money from Punjabi singers. He met Goldie Brar in 2009 and expanded his operations across India with the help of his aide Sandeep alias Kala Jathedi. There are over 700 gangsters across the country allegedly working at this time for Bishnoi. With Lawrence Bishnoi and Goldie Brar allegedly confessing to Sidhu Moose Wala's murder, the investigating agencies seem to believe the singer was indeed a victim of a violent inter-gang rivalry. With Arvind Ojha in Mansa, Punjab, Bureau Report, India Today. Now let me show you the way things work within the relationships that has led to the killing of Sidhu Moose Wala. It's very, very specific, and stay with me, viewer, because it can get a little complicated. I'm going to do my best to make it as clear as possible for you. Sidhu Moose Wala is a superstar who was shot dead five days ago. Okay. Sidhu Moose Wala's manager is Shaganpreet. He's Moose Wala's manager, who is currently in Australia. He is the one who allegedly killed Vicky Midhu Kheda, who was a rival gangster. He was shot dead in August 2021 in Punjab. After that, Shaganpreet fled to Australia, where he is currently in hiding. The thing is, Vicky Midhu Kheda happened to be a close associate of Lawrence Bishnoi, the dreaded gangster who's currently in Delhi's maximum security Tihar jail. Lawrence Bishnoi's associate sitting pretty in Canada is Goldie Brar. He's the gangster who runs Lawrence Bishnoi's operations from abroad. He's the one who allegedly ordered the supari on Sidhu Moose Wala. So this is the cycle of violence that resulted in the revenge killing of Sidhu Moose Wala, or at least that's what Lawrence Bishnoi will have us believe. Let's go across to India Today's Lalit Sharma as well for more on this story. Lalit, what's the latest in the investigation? How many people? Manpreet is one assassin who has already been arrested. There are understood to be at least 6 more persons. 2 have been identified. There are these fresh CCTV videos, Lalit, of the Bolero and the Alto that were used by the killers. Where are the other shooters?
Shiv, definitely if we talk about the investigation, the police is getting a number of leads, and if we talk about the today's progress today, the notorious gangster Lawrence Bishnoi today has confessed that he was the one who was involved and he was the one who instructed his sharpshooters to kill Sidhu Moose Wala, and the reason behind the killing was the revenge to take for the 2021 Vicky Midhu Kheda's murder. And if we talk about today's 2 more videos have been appeared today, and one is from the Bapiana village in Haryana, where the attacker, the sharpshooters, after fleeing from the village where on Sunday from Johar K, where Sidhu Moose Wala was being killed, fled with the Bolero and the Corolla car. So already the Bolero car was found by the police, but the Corolla car was left in the Bapiana village in Haryana. So a fresh footage has been found by the police. But
yes,
if we talk about the persons who have been today detained by the police are the Pawan Bishnoi and Khan. They were the one who helped in the logistics, especially in giving the Corolla car to the sharpshooters. So right now, police is just investigating and are trying to just trying to add on all the leads in this whole murder. And looking into this in the social media now, new threats could be seen in which Bappi Rana could be seen rewarding a award of 5 lakh rupees who would just give information about the attackers, sharpshooters.
Lalit, thanks very much. Keep tracking that story because it's moving very rapidly. More gangsters are getting involved in this entire, to and fro between different outfits and different factions of the Lawrence Bishnoi gang as well as the Bhuppi Rana gang. And that's the reason why we could be on the threshold of an all-out gang war in different parts of Punjab. And don't forget the international element in Australia as well as in Canada. That's what we are looking at right now. And this is even before any of the assassins of Sidhu Moose Wala have been arrested in full. Only one guy has been apprehended. Now, Sidhu Moose Wala, who's accused of glorifying firearms through his art, through his hip-hop, through his rap, was shot and killed in broad daylight. But India today isn't just reporting the surface facts. We've dug deeper into Punjab's relationship with gun ownership. We call our show Guns, Ghana, Gangsters. And you'll see from this report why 4 lakh persons in Punjab hold active gun licenses. Each one of those individuals is allowed to operate 3 firearms with 1 permit. Take a look at this report.
A love affair with the gun. Some sold off on license. Some smuggled in from across the border. Some from Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. As a Punjabi rapper accused of glorifying firearms in his songs is shot and killed in broad daylight, allegedly by a criminal gang, India Today digs deeper into Punjab's relationship to gun ownership. In a state with an adult population of 2.14 crore, 4 lakh hold active gun licenses, and each one allowed to own 3 firearms on a single permit.
उसके बारे में पता किया जाता है. जो हमारी स्पेशल ब्रांच है उनके पास भी हम जो व्यक्ति है उसके बारे में लिख के भेजते हैं कि इसके बारे में पता किया जाए, इसने न्यू लाइसेंस के लिए अप्लाई किया है. उसके बाद जो हमारी ब्रांच में आती है, उसके बाद जो हमारी डीसीपी इन्वेस्टिगेशन है उनके पास इनकी इंटरव्यू होती है.
Data shows civilians have more licensed weapons than the number of police personnel in Punjab. 11 lakh licensed guns in a state with 80,000 cops. Muktsar, Sangrur, Hoshiarpur, Firozpur, Tarantaran and Amritsar districts have issued the maximum number of gun permits. Mausers, revolvers, rifles, pistols, pump-action guns among various firearms issued on license in the state. The procedure of gun permits involve background checks of applicants, include reports of mental fitness and no dependence on alcohol and drugs. A former DGP of Punjab, Shashikant, believes existing licenses should be reviewed and procedures tightened for gun permits.
These licenses were given in certain regimes. I'm not taking the name of any particular regime, but yes, there were certain times when they were given like anything like crazy. Okay, now I'm told that there are certain restrictions have come up.
Chetan Midda owns a gun store in Punjab's Mansa. He was a friend of slain singer Moose Wala. The firearms dealer advocates tighter restrictions on firearms in order to stop them from landing in the hands of gangsters.
आजकल जो गैंगस्टरवाद है पंजाब में बहुत बढ़ता जा रहा है, तो ये जो गवर्नमेंट है वो मतलब गौर नहीं कर रही. उनको करना चाहिए, सख्ती होनी चाहिए सर ये इनके सिस्टम पे. जो गैंगस्टर के पास इतना हथियार कहां से आता है.
A number of illegal weapons also make their way into Punjab. The state recorded a 340% rise in seizures of such firearms in the last year alone. With Satinder Chauhan, Manjeet Sehgal and Tanseeb Haider, Bureau Report, India Today.
And today, 5 days after Sidhu Moose Wala was pumped full of bullets in Mansa, Punjab, Bhagwant Mann, the Chief Minister of Punjab, finally decided to visit the family. He's been under huge pressure because he's the guy who removed Sidhu Moose Wala's security, and just a day later, the pop star was killed. Well, Bhagwant Mann arrived just hours after another Aam Aadmi Party leader arrived there under massive attack. Take a look at what happened when the Punjab Chief Minister finally decided to show up.
Five days after Sidhu Moose Wala's murder, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann reached the singer's house in Mansa to meet his grieving parents. Under fire for downgrading VIP security of Moose Wala and making the details public, Mann drove straight into the singer's house that had turned into a virtual fortress. Hours before the Punjab Chief Minister's arrival, an Aam Aadmi Party MLA faced the wrath of villagers. He had to return without meeting the singer's family. The Punjab government has now restored the VIP security cover of over 400 people after a stinging blow from the High Court.
सिद्धू मूसेवाले जी की हत्या की गई, वो एक बेहद अफसोस वाली बात थी और उसके लिए पंजाब सरकार, पंजाब के मुख्यमंत्री ऑलरेडी कह चुके हैं कि पूरी कोशिश जारी है और हम विश्वास दिलाते हैं कि दोषियों को पकड़ के कड़ी से कड़ी सजा दिलवाएंगे.
Blood politics is peaking over Moose Wala's killing. BJP hit out at Mann's visit, calling it a photo opportunity and accusing his government of state-sponsored murder.
Bhagwant Mann should stop doing PR optics and shedding crocodile tears. Instead, he must tell us what real action has been taken against those who are responsible for the state-sponsored killing of Sidhu Moose Wala, Punjab's young son and a world-renowned artist.
5 दिन के बाद मुख्यमंत्री, स्टेट के मुख्यमंत्री जिन्होंने अभी तक मुंह ही नहीं खोला इस इश्यू के ऊपर, 5 दिन बाद अगर जाएं तो सबसे पहले तो यही बताता है कि उनके अंदर कितना खौफ और डर है इस चीज को लेके कि जो उन्होंने गलत काम किया, परिवार उसको कैसे आगे से अपना गुस्सा और तकलीफ जाहिर करेगा.
Hours after the singer's death, his father had written a letter to Bhagwant Mann criticizing his government for linking his son's murder to a gang war. He also demanded an apology from the Punjab police chief. As blame game and politics continue, those who shot Moose Wala still remain at large. Bureau Report, India Today.
And just a reminder to all of our viewers that 7 assassins are believed to have been involved in the killing of Sidhu Moose Wala. 1 has been arrested, 2 others have been identified. A total of 6 men who were responsible for firing those bullets are still out there. It's been 5 days since the death of Sidhu Moose Wala. We will continue to track that story very closely. On the other side, I'm asking, after 100 days of war in Ukraine, what are things looking like for President Vladimir Putin? And are all the propaganda and reports about his ill health, about his cancer, about him losing his eyesight, are they all just a Western wet dream? I'm going to do a reality check on the other side.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com or call 9999892171.
You are watching India Today. You are...
How many more civilian killings? Terrifying spike in Kashmir butchery. Rahul, Amreen, Rajni, and now Vijay. India Today's spotlight sets news agenda. Zero rest in our relentless coverage. Who'll save Kashmir's innocence? Jihadis versus innocents. Complete coverage only on India Today.
You are watching India Today.
They say he's dying of cancer. They say he's losing his eyesight. They say he's being dethroned. They say he's missing his Botox. They say he survived an assassination bid. They say he's lost his mind. But it's time to do a reality check. Is a broken Putin just a Western wet dream?
100 days of war in Ukraine have been defined by endless Russian propaganda. Everything is fine, all is well, sab kuch theek hai. You know, President Putin is the king of the world. You've seen how it is. That's how Cold War style propaganda works. But the reverse is also true, viewer. As you and I both know, that there's also been a lot of propaganda against Vladimir Putin. They say that he's dying of cancer. They say that he's going to be dethroned by a coup. They say that he's losing his eyesight. They say that he's fed up because Botox has pulled out of Russia. They say that he's broke. They say that his military is in a mutiny against him. They say he's going to be assassinated by being drowned in some lake in Russia. So many things have been said by credible Western sources, intelligence agencies, Western media, of course. Is it all true, or is it the same kind of propaganda that Russia has also used? I thought today is a great day to have a reality check of the many things that have been said about President Vladimir Putin on 100 days of the war. First, let's look at where things are at in Ukraine.
The fire in Eastern Europe has been burning out for the last 100 days. The war that started on February 24th is nowhere near its end.
I've taken the decision to conduct a special military operation. Its purpose is to protect people who have been subject to abuse and genocide by the Kiev regime for 8 years. And to do this, we will strive to demilitarize and denazify Ukraine.
The special ops Russian President Vladimir Putin expected to end in a few days could go on for many more days, if not months. Ukraine has resisted, and how? The European continent has found a new hero in President Volodymyr Zelensky, who refused to flee his country when faced with Russian invasion.
Всім добрий вечір. Лідер фракції тут, голова Офісу президента тут, прем'єр-міністр Шмигаль тут, Подоляк тут, президент тут. Всі ми тут, наші військові тут, громадяни суспільства тут, всі ми тут. Захищаємо нашу незалежність, нашу державу. І так буде й далі. Слава нашим захисникам, слава нашим захисницям. Слава Україні!
Russia advanced quickly through eastern Ukraine but faced the Ukrainian might as its forces neared Kyiv. While it rained death and destruction, stiff fight back forced the Russian forces to make a strategic retreat from the gates of the capital city. The Russian pullback from Kyiv revealed the real horrors of the war. The killings of civilians in Bucha, a suburb of Kyiv, shocked humanity. India Today's reporters who were in Bucha revealed the real picture to the entire world.
And armored personal carriers show and indicate the kind of battles that have taken place in this area. Not one, not two, but multiple burnt tanks and APCs in this area.
Many nations have since then launched investigations into alleged war crimes in Bucha. Having pulled back from Kyiv, Russia shifted focus to Donbas region in its second phase of war. Today, Russia controls key Ukrainian cities in eastern Ukraine, including Mariupol and Kherson. Heavy fighting has ensued in Mykolaiv and Kharkiv. While Russia has made significant war gains, they have come at a huge economic cost. The country is reeling under sanctions imposed by the West.
I spent a lot of time in Ukraine when I was a senator and vice president. I've spoken to the Rada in the days when they, in fact, didn't have what you'd call democracy, and was there in the Maidan when the former leader had to take off and head into Russia. And so, you know, but the Ukrainian people have a lot of backbone. They have a lot of guts, and I'm sure you're observing it.
Russia so far has put up a brave front. Kremlin has time and again warned the world of severe consequences, even dangling the nuclear threat at times. The effect of the war is being felt across the globe. Inflation is surging, posing the single biggest challenge to the whole world. For a world that's emerging out of a pandemic, the Ukraine war has come as a double blow. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now let's take a look at the extravagant the Western claims about Putin one by one. As this war enters its 100th day, a chilling claim has been made by Russian intelligence officer. He claims that Russian President Putin is losing his eyesight and he's been given only 3 years to actually live. Take a look at this report.
The man who waged a war on over 4 crore people, displacing millions. The man who changed the world order overnight. Russian President Vladimir Putin may have only 3 years to live. This chilling claim comes from a Russian intelligence officer. A Federal Security Service officer quoted by The Independent has claimed that Putin suffers from a rapidly progressing cancer. The officer has also alleged that 69-year-old Putin is losing his eyesight. The claims come amid growing speculation that Putin's health is deteriorating rapidly. The Kremlin has denied reports on Putin's health condition. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Sunday said there were no signs pointing to any ailment or illness. The Independent reports the FSB officer revealed the information on Putin's health to former Russian spy Boris Karpechkov, who is currently living in the UK. The Russian officer reportedly said, "We are told he is suffering from headaches, and when he appears on TV, he needs a piece of paper with everything written in huge letters to read what he is going to say. They are so big, each page can only hold a couple of sentences. His eyesight is seriously worsening." The spy said, adding that Putin's limbs are now also shaking uncontrollably. Rumors about the Russian president's health reportedly originated through the popular Russian telegram channel General SVR. The channel claimed that Putin's doctors had warned him a surgery might incapacitate him for a short time, and that during this period, the president should briefly hand over the reins of power to an aide. The Russian president had also undergone cosmetic procedures in a bid to improve his tough guy image. Bureau Report, India Today.
The other big claim that has been made in Western media is that President Putin has been undergoing treatment for cancer. It is at an advanced stage and that he doesn't have very long left to live. Take a look at this. Also made by an intelligence chief and amplified in a huge manner by Western press. Take a look.
April 2022. Russian invasion of Ukraine was about 2 months old. Russian President Vladimir Putin had a meeting with his defense minister, Sergei Shoigu. In the video recording and the photographs of the meeting, the Russian president's physical appearance raised a few eyebrows. He's seen slumping and clinging to the edge of a tiny table as if to steady himself against a tremor or vertigo. He did not let go of the table in the entire 12 minutes of the video. Putin moves his feet up and down, appears restless and tense, and clears his throat a number of times while listening to the minister's briefing. Within another couple of weeks at the Victory Day parade in Moscow, the Russian president is seen sitting among the veterans with a warm blanket covering his lap. He was the only one on the dais with a blanket. Then came an explosive interview of the man heading Ukraine's intelligence agency.
We can confirm that Putin is in very bad psychological and physical condition. He is very sick. He has various illnesses at the same time, one which is cancer.
In the second week of May, a US magazine reported on an audio recording of a conversation between a Western venture capitalist taped in mid-March with the Russian oligarch close to President Putin. In this secretly recorded conversation, the magazine reported that the oligarch refers to the Russian president and says he absolutely ruined Russia's economy, Ukraine's economy and many other economies. He even goes on to say that the problem is with his head. One crazy guy can turn the world upside down. The information is not verified, but there are certain factors that can't be ignored. The fact that the man at the helm of Kremlin affairs completely isolated himself throughout the COVID-19 pandemic and seemed paranoid with screenings of guests raised few sincere questions about his sound health conditions. Russian independent media reported that anyone who wanted to meet or get close to the Russian president were asked to take a PCR test and even provide fecal samples. Vladimir Putin had meetings with foreign visitors both before and during the war, at medieval banquet-length tables that ensured complete social distancing, but neither he nor any of his guests ever wore a mask at any of these meetings. This October, Vladimir Putin will turn 70 years old. He is no longer the agile alpha man in his late 40s, who took charge of the Russian presidency for the first time in 1999 December. Moscow grapevine is ripe with rumors and doubts about the president's physical and psychological well-being.
So you've had cancer afflicting Putin, you've had his failing eyesight, but what about coups and assassinations? Well, there's been a generous dollop of propaganda from the Western press in the last 100 days about how Putin has survived assassination bids by his own disgruntled people in Russia, as well as constant peppering of news breaks in the Western media about how there is a coup underway to depose and dethrone Putin because of his failure in the Ukraine war. Well, you know where things are at. Watch this report, and on the other side, piece by piece, I will be doing a reality check on these Western claims.
Once an agent of sophisticated spy agency KGB of USSR, Vladimir Putin is no stranger to coup or assassination bids. Russian history from the days of Tsar Ivan the Terrible have always relied on intricate surveillance of its population and inner governing circuits. The KGB was responsible for this in the USSR regime. In modern Russia, the job is performed by the FSB. Vladimir Putin relies on them heavily. Right after his invasion of Ukraine in the early weeks of March 2022, Putin reportedly survived an assassination bid. There is no official confirmation of it from the Kremlin. Head of Ukraine's Chief Intelligence Directorate, Karailo Budanov, in an interview to a Ukrainian media outlet, claimed that there was an attempt to assassinate Putin. He was even attacked, it is said, by representatives of the caucus not so long ago. This is non-public information. It was an absolutely unsuccessful attempt, but it really happened. It was about 2 months ago. I repeat, this attempt was unsuccessful. There was no publicity about this event, but it took place. The Caucasus region includes the once restive Republic of Chechnya, which saw a bloody Islamist insurgency that Putin had suppressed. Budanov also claimed that a coup is brewing in the Kremlin corridors.
This will lead to a change of leadership of the Russian Federation. This process has already been launched and they're moving that way. Yes, they're moving in this way and it is impossible to stop it.
Another Western media reported that the Russian president fears he could be killed after he sacked senior generals over their failures to capture Ukraine. He uses his body double as a decoy. Again, there's no confirmation to any of these claims. But in a 2017 interview to a filmmaker, Oliver Stone, Vladimir Putin accepts that there has been 5 attempts on his life and that he relies heavily on his security agency for his survival. It was the KGB that masterminded the coup against former Soviet Union President Mikhail Gorbachev and led to his ouster. Putin was the Lieutenant Colonel of FSB before he became the Prime Minister of Boris Yeltsin's government. He worked hard to gain the president's trust to succeed him in less than 12 months of becoming the Prime Minister. Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin walks in the shadow of threat of a coup or an assassination to end his rule all the time, since he assumed higher echelons of Russian power. Bureau Report, India Today.
So I'm genuinely asking, are all these pieces of claim and propaganda and Putin just that propaganda? Is a broken, diminished, diseased, dying Putin just a Western wet dream? You know, that's a real question we should ask, and what better occasion than day 100 of this war to ask it. Claim number 1, and this is where it all began. The West started by saying that Putin is just muscle flexing. He never plans to invade. He's just trying to signal the world. The reality is, we are currently on day 100 of a very violent invasion and war of Ukraine. So that's one Western claim that has been busted. Number 2, Putin is undergoing cancer treatment. Just after these reports emerged in the Western media, he appeared in public suggesting that his health is actually okay, though it's not really known what his health condition is. Western claim number 3. Putin losing his eyesight rapidly. This was a claim that was made by a Russian spy. But when Putin actually emerged, he went and met people, shook their hands. Just after this report came out, no apparent indications, even by experts, that there was anything wrong with Putin's eyesight. So that's another thing that's been debunked. Western claim number 4 now, that there could be a coup at any time to depose Putin. Putin's days are numbered in the Kremlin. Well, Putin is fully in control of the military and the government, at least so far. No signs of any coup. He's got an iron fist, whatever you may say of him. Western claim number 5 that went viral and was reported all over the world. Let's move to number 5. Western claim number 5 was that Putin has survived an assassination bid. This was spread in the world media to make it look like Putin has enemies within, that his days are numbered, he is vulnerable to his own people. Putin has interacted with crowds on Victory Day, where there was no apparent special security. With crowds, he was right there. So what's the big deal about an assassination bid? That signal has also been established. Western claim number 6, Putin's appearance is worsening now because Botox is no longer available. They wanted to kind of defame him, make him look silly, someone who injects Botox. He appeared in public a few days after those reports went viral. Didn't look like he uses Botox. At least many experts also agree with that. Claim number 7, Russian military is in mutiny against Putin. Well, Russian military certainly isn't in good shape in Ukraine, but there certainly has been no sign or proof whatsoever of any kind of mutiny. So that's another piece of Western propaganda against Putin that has been debunked. And finally, that a battered Putin is looking to find some kind of an exit from Ukraine. And that brings me back full circle. It's been 100 days of this war, and that war is not coming to an end. So anyone who said that Putin on day 50 would be looking for an exit, Victory Day would be looking for an exit, well, it simply hasn't happened just yet. Gaurav Sawant is with us live, and I'm going to go across to him in just a moment on the story. Yeah, Gaurav, we've just listed all these pieces of reportage in the Western press mostly that have all gone viral. They've been reported so widely. Cancer, eyesight being lost, mutiny, assassination, coup. You were in Ukraine, so you were able to consume all these pieces of propaganda in the West. It may be a provocative question, but we have to ask it. Putin's smiling, he's in control, seems to be healthy. All a Western wet dream? What's going on?
So, there are some images that are going very viral. Yeah. What are those images that are going viral? One, a Russian drone with an oil, with a water bottle to show fuel. And they're saying this is how bad Russian equipment is. Or Russian T-90 also going up in flames in Ukraine. Or Russian T-72s and armored personnel carriers being destroyed. And they're saying that the Russian armor is failing. Or the sinking of Moscow. That was a huge blow to Moscow. While Russia did take those blows, and while some of the Russian aircraft, including Su-30s and Su-34s, went down in this battle. But Shiv, 100 days later, what's the ground reality? 100 days later, the ground reality is Ukraine is no longer in control of 20% of its territory. 1/5 of Ukraine is now in Russian control. Ukraine no longer in control of the Sea of Azov. Ukraine no longer in control of almost 90% of its industrial belt. So, who's really losing here, and it's such a stalemate where Ukraine is actually backed by NATO and Russia is fighting on its own.
Absolutely. And Gaurav, the Putin aspect I want to dwell on just a little bit more, because there is such a shroud of secrecy around Putin. Like many totalitarian leaders, not very much is known. There's always a gray area around, his health, his eyesight. But there appears to be a concerted effort from the Russian side to debunk these pieces of propaganda. A day after the cancer reports came out, he was out there meeting people. A day after, that he had survived an assassination bid, he was shaking hands with the crowds, on Victory Day. So obviously this Cold War mentality is still very, very much active.
Shiv, information warfare is one of the most important aspects of war, and especially in a totalitarian regime where even forces down don't have access to full information. You're absolutely right. So in the good old days, you would watch images of Putin, on horseback, bare-chested on horseback, not wearing without his shirt, riding or hunting or swimming or on a canoe. That super fit judo
alpha male
expert, that alpha male image. So that and the situation today, there is a sea change, there is no denying that fact, but as of now there is no concrete evidence in public domain that seems to indicate it's either a failing regime or he's on his way out.
On his way out or a failing regime. There is absolutely no reason to believe any of that. Do we have Geeta Mohan? I haven't got an indication yet. We have Geeta Mohan. Okay, I didn't get that. Geeta Mohan is live with us, foreign affairs editor who was in Moscow and the Russian side for a long time, reporting on these many things that are being said about Vladimir Putin. Geeta, what do you make of this stream of things that were said about the Russian president? And what was it like reporting on them while you were there in Russia?
Well, there's a huge difference from what is being reported in various parts of the world, Shiv, not just in India or in Russia, but also the West. And there is a difference in how Putin or Putin's decisions are perceived by the Western media, by the Western countries, not just the media, by Western countries, by countries in the Asian region who continue to do business with Russia, as also by media and people within Russia. So there was a huge difference when I first landed in Moscow, the shock factor of how a lot of people did not expect Putin to invade. And I keep saying this, Shiv, because Finland, Sweden joining NATO is very different from Ukraine doing it, because people in Finland and Sweden are not of Russian origin, are not Russian speaking. But in Ukraine has a huge population that's Russian speaking, Russian origin, of Russian descent, and have families across the border, both sides. Russians have family in Ukraine, Ukrainians have family and relatives in Russia. So the dynamics completely change when we are talking about Ukraine. And that's why there was a shock factor. But as the longer the war went on and we were in Donbass and when we came back, the views on Putin, the views on the war were changing, because there were explanations that were coming in. They said, well, an invasion is not right, but certainly one understands concerns of our own country and our leadership, the concerns of what the West is doing in Ukraine. So it did take some time for things to settle in, but people in Russia certainly started warming up to the idea that they need to secure their own interests. Apart from that, we know that there have been a lot of speculation, not just about his health, but also about decision making, decisions, and the fact that there is rift and problems within Putin's core team. We were also given to understand that the fact that the United States of America kept saying that Russia is going to invade, while the world did not believe the United States of America. There are some who say that they have people on the inside who are informing Washington, D.C. Now, we don't have confirmation on that, but there certainly is a lot of speculation with regards to why, how of Putin, his decisions, and his core team. Having said that, when it comes to his own core team, he's lost quite a few important people, Shiv, in this war. But his decisions are intact and are followed through. So I don't see a change, or I don't see a conflict within in terms of a revolt against Putin.
Geeta, thanks very much for that. Many more things are definitely going to be said about Putin, given that this war has marked 100 days today. But as you and I both know, Geeta, this conflict is definitely far from over. It has changed the world in more ways than anticipated. We'll keep tracking that story. Thanks very much, Geeta Mohan, our foreign affairs editor, who was in Moscow, in Ukraine, and now reporting on the big global fallout. And I'd like to end now by giving you something that's related to what's going on, and it's courtesy India's Foreign Affairs Minister, our External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jai Shankar, who has dropped a bombshell on the European Union of the kind I certainly haven't seen before, and I don't think anybody has seen in recent memory. He was given gyan during an interview abroad today about India's preferences, India's position on Ukraine, sitting on the fence, not really taking sides, which axis it's part of. Basically, people trying to criticize India's, what they say is a confused foreign policy. I'm not going to spoil it for you, ladies and gentlemen. Do not miss India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar. Listen into every word he just said in reply.
Europe has to grow out of the mindset that Europe's problems are the world's problems. But the world's problems are not Europe's problems. That if it is you, it's yours. If it is me, it's ours. I think that's something, and I see, reflections of that. Again, in terms of, there is a linkage today which is being made. A linkage between China and India and what's happening in Ukraine. So come on, guys. I mean, China and India happened way before anything happened in Ukraine. So the Chinese don't need a precedent somewhere else in the world on how to engage us or not engage us, or be difficult with us or not be difficult with us. So, as I said, I just see this as frankly a not very clever argument, a very self-serving one.
We'll get you more such truth bombs from India's External Affairs Minister in the days ahead, because the Gyanis obviously are not going to tire of lecturing India on its foreign policy. Hypocrisy busted once again, courtesy Dr. Jai Shankar. That's a wrap on 5 Live. Thanks for watching. On the other side, a gang rape horror in the city of Hyderabad is a story that India Today broke earlier today. We've got more information. The sons, the kids of top MLAs of Hyderabad are said to be involved. We'll get you more.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com or call 9999892171. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India Today. You are watching
Is Russian President Putin's life under a time clock? Well, according to Russian intelligence, Putin has only 2 to 3 more years to live. He is suffering from a severe form of rapid cancer. The Federal Security Service also said Putin is losing his eyesight and suffering from severe headaches. The FSB officials said that when appearing on TV, Putin needs everything written